Hello and welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about it. On this channel, I talk about my own personal experience with courtroom corruption, police brutality, and more. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I appreciate everyone's support. On this channel, I have nothing to gain to mislead or lie to the public. In fact, everything I say in this channel is the truth. I want to do this video because I think it's very important that the public knows about these fraudulent court costs that this opposing lawyer, John David Ekpenyong, has submitted. I believe every judge who has considered these court costs knew that these were fraudulent court costs. I know for a fact that they are. And I'm going to get into these $325,000, $754 court cost request by John David Ekpenyong. This is a case of fraud, perjury. The list goes on with this, what the damage that this lawyer has done. But the real issue is that this Kitchener-Waterloo courthouse has given this man and his client, an ex-girlfriend, a blank canvas to destroy my life. Perjury is perjury. Under the criminal code, there's judicial perjury. And if you are caught lying in a court or submitting fraudulent documents, doesn't matter if you're a lawyer or just a litigant to a party, fraud is fraud. And when you have court staff, judges, prosecutors who all work in this courthouse, who are public servants paid through tax dollars, and when this is brought up to their attention and they completely stonewall and ignore a self-represented person like mine, then this should be very concerning to the public, because this is exactly what is happening to me. I don't know what else to do anymore but to go public and to share everything in an honest and truthful manner, and I try to do my best to be calm about it. But you guys can probably understand times when I'm seen frustrated for the obvious reasons. Now, this lawyer, John David Ekpenyong, what I have personally experienced this man attempt, what he's gotten away with. If any one of us in the public were caught doing what this man is doing, I'm telling you, most of us, if not all of us, would be looking at a penitentiary bid. We'd be looking at 2 years plus a day. If someone from the public, if myself even, has attempted half the things that John David Ekpenyong has done and gotten away with, we'd be looking at penitentiary bids, straight up. This lawyer, I'm going to start with the family. So this lawyer has submitted $326,000 straight across the board, especially in this Kitchener-Waterloo courthouse. And I'm going to get into all the details of these fraudulent court costs and why. The question still remains, why is the Law Society of Ontario refusing to investigate? I've already dealt with Ari Cashton, Christopher White, Virginia Torrance. I filed an appeal with this complaint. It's all just bogus. It's a sham, these complaints. The Law Society was completely biased and broken, and dealing with my complaints had this corruption elements. And I don't know why the Law Society is continuing to protect this man just because he's being prosecuted by the Law Society Tribunal for some other similar funny business. These judges in this Kitchener-Waterloo courthouse are all aware of this lawyer's behavior. The Waterloo Region Police, the Halton Region Police, multiple Crown attorneys, deputy Crown attorneys, senior top-level Crown attorneys, they're all aware of John David Ekpenyong's conduct and his client's conduct. And I don't know what else to do anymore, because like I said, I'm being stonewalled by everybody. I've tried to escalate this to Sean Fraser, Canada's Minister of Justice. He refuses to speak to me. He sends the Attorney General foot soldiers to respond to me, and then they tell me they're not going to talk about this. They tell me to go to the Canadian Judicial Council, who have dismissed all my complaints, and they've also dismissed almost 1,100 complaints, which can be found in their 2024-2025, I think, annual report, and they only gave out 3 warnings. Another complaint service that doesn't work. So I'm going to get into all the details of John David Ekpenyong's $326,000 fraudulent court cost. And this lawyer has admitted in an affidavit his client has only paid him $32,000. And to be honest, I don't even think she paid that. And the only way to get to the bottom of this is if these government officials, these public servants, are actually going to truly be fair and impartial, and they're going to intervene, and they're going to simply just ask Mr. Ekpenyong to provide a financial assessment, because we'll get to the bottom of this. But they won't do that because they're all protecting one another for what I dealt with in this Kitchener-Waterloo courthouse, and everything comes down to this family court case. A court I believe I was unlawfully dragged to. I've already given the detail in previous videos. It's pretty obvious. I had absolutely no business ever being in the Kitchener-Waterloo family court. It was absolutely abusive. It was malicious. And that whole experience with the Kitchener-Waterloo courthouse was traumatic. And I believe I've been traumatized by the abuse I've endured from these individuals at this Kitchener-Waterloo courthouse. And really all I'm asking is just to do the right thing. And fix this situation. They destroyed my life, and it all comes down to these fraudulent court costs is a major element. So, in this family court case in the Kitchener-Waterloo courthouse dealing with John David Ekpenyong, they had served me this restraining order application that wasn't signed. I had no domestic violence with my ex, no police history. I believe she was coached in that last month I was trying to move out, when she did call the Waterloo Region Police on me 5 times. They showed up those 5 times and deemed it was never criminal or family. This was always civil. So the family court case started May 2022. I sent offers to settle. Ekpenyong basically sent me an offer to settle. I went back, I matched his offer to settle, and then he came back and said they reject my offer to settle, which was just to end everything, and they wanted $20,000. And mind you, they admitted on an affidavit, which I'm going to get into, that they only paid $7,000. So here he is at his antics right away, trying to bully me into paying $20,000 for money that never exchanged hands, and hours that were never worked. Fast forward to June 2023. I'm trying to resolve this. I'm trying to get out of family court. They are pressing on me to give in to money. They reject my offer again to settle, and they counter offer. They want 6 years restraining order, and they want $27,000. So you see what they're up to, right? That they're abusing the courts. And this whole courthouse, they all ganged up on me and supported this frivolous application and pointed the finger at me and said, I'm the one that's abusing the court process. I'm the one that's doing this, that. Here you go. You got these people straight up from the gate open, requesting for money that, that they never paid. And again, then we go to August of 2023, one day after going before Justice McLeod. Justice McLeod said they had no case and they should reconsider it. They came at me the following day in August of 2023, and they said to me, okay, we won't ask for any money. We want a 6-year, I don't know if they said at the time, but they wanted a peace bond. And I'm like, why would I agree to this? There's been no issues. I live in Burlington. She lives in the Kitchener-Waterloo area. And it's like, I don't go there. All of my family lives out there, okay? Check this out. All of my family lives in the Kitchener-Waterloo area. I want nothing to do with them. I want nothing to do with my family out there. I'm going to get into a whole video with my whole family and honestly how disappointed I am in my family, especially my father, who has another family. He has other children that he spoils them like crazy. Um, I want nothing to do with my father. I want nothing to do with my grandfather, who's been caught multiple times calling my ex, showing up at his house, my uncles, my cousins. I'm going to be getting to a whole video of my family and my upbringing. And honestly, I want nothing to do. I really dislike the Kitchener-Waterloo region. I don't care for it, to be honest. I don't care for the downtown Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge. I don't care for that region. I got no desire to go up there. So I asked them, just drop everything, just go on with our lives. This is now August 2023. I moved out of my ex's basement June of 2022. I never contacted her ever again. I helped this woman renovate her home. It went up $800,000. I never asked for no money. And it's like, this woman just is harassing me with dragging me through all this court. I couldn't keep a job. The list goes on. So then basically, you guys seen about the whole thing with Justice Tweedy. She unlawfully dragged me through family court for 18 months, and she filled out the trial schedule endorsement form, put it to a trial, told the trial coordinator's office to schedule a trial. That was Sloan French who told me this. Ekpenyong never even filed this trial schedule endorsement form. I still got put to a trial. That's when I went before Justice Michael Gibson. It was a rigged trial. I told him from the beginning, the application was never signed. The trial schedule endorsement form was never properly filled out, served, and filed. The trial record, so many procedural errors. And not only that, I have no business being in family court. Does this judge not know that you have to be married, have children, and live with somebody? He put in his endorsement, I was a common law spouse. I rented my ex's basement. She admitted that to the police. All of my stuff was always in that basement. Her witnesses at the landlord-tenant board admitted that. I lose that 2-day rigged trial. This lawyer submitted $160,000 in fraudulent court costs, and he gets awarded for submitting fraudulent documents, and I get punished. And Justice Gibson made a court order, which is basically a piece of paper that is a tool to torment somebody if you put that in the wrong hands of somebody. And that's exactly what that judge did. He gave these people a tool, a piece of paper to torment my life. He ordered me to pay money for hours that was never worked, for money that was never exchanged hands. And when I asked this judge for a financial assessment, he refused it. This judge seen the police report where she admitted I was a tenant renting her basement. This judge seen the landlord-tenant eviction application. Okay. The issues I had with this family court was Justice Tweedy, who filled out that trial schedule endorsement form. Nobody's investigating her. Nobody from this Canadian Judicial Council, is protecting her. They refuse to investigate. The things Justice Gibson put on his endorsement, put it on Canley. Anyone now goes on Canley that I'm talking about my situation, or lawyers, they don't want to work with me because of what this judge said about me. The judge said, I called her, I emailed her, I breached my temporary restraining order, was not a tenant. None of these things happened. This judge destroyed my reputation with these endorsements. And if you look at the cost endorsement, where this judge entertained a fraudulent $160,000 court cost request, you can see this judge had no regard for my financial situation. He even says in there, and I will be sharing those costs, that it's something about no one should be insulated from court costs. This judge had no regard for my financial situation. That didn't ask me situations. When I sent this judge a letter, I told him this whole thing is ruined my mental health. I'm feeling suicidal. I've lost 3 jobs. This judge's actions showed he did not give 2 shits about my mental health. I've lost 3 jobs. I am feeling suicidal. His actions demonstrate by ordering me to pay this money on a court order that he has no regard for me. And why does he have no regard for me? Because I think of that half-ass recording that my ex submitted that most judges would never have accepted in the first place. There's nothing leading up to that conversation. It's just me being upset for 4 minutes. And it's like, okay, what started this? This was a rigged family court proceeding, a court I was unlawfully dragged into. Ekpenyong lied at the very beginning. He lied to 12 judges, and I'll be getting to a whole video of all the strict details of these lies. And the first one was with Justice Bingham, Kathleen Bingham, who with Justice Martha Ann Tweedy came in together. They applied to be, they were a family court. Justice Bingham was a family lawyer. Justice Tweedy was a justice of the peace in Brampton. Justice Bingham was a family lawyer in Hamilton. They applied while the Liberals were in charge to be judges, and Justice David Lamati, he appointed them. Apparently this disgraced former Attorney General appointed them. And this is the problem we're having. All these judges that have gone before, the Liberals appointed them. So there's just so many issues to the situation, but Ekpenyong lied to this judge. He told her straight up. He told her that I never served him my materials. When I did, he lied. I have the transcripts. I've showed them in previous videos. And I showed that I did send him those materials. And he even responded to me in an email saying that, oh, you're not allowed to go second. He's even heard, I have the transcripts. This lawyer told me to shut up in court. You know, it's just, this lawyer needs to be properly investigated. The Law Society is protecting him. The Law Society of Ontario is protecting him. I'm going to start investigating more on this lawyer because I think his license is a sham. I think he got his lawyer's license in Africa, which is probably a sham. Probably paid for the answers for that if I was to guess. He came to Canada on some bogus refugee work visa application, somehow slithered in, and then he went for one of these pre-exams courses where he bought the answers for his Ontario lawyer's license, and he's been damaging lives ever since. This lawyer's been self-representing him. He lost miserably. Tried to sue VersaCold for $1.2 million for slipping on a box of ice cream. The man's a con artist. He's a scammer. And I think he scammed his lawyer's license, and we need to do a proper investigation on this man and to see where he got his credentials from, because the Law Society of Ontario refuses to do that. So Ekpenyong was caught lying to Bingham. She knew it. They refused to do anything. This man has been lying. I've got him down to probably about 6 to 12 judges, justice of the peace or whatever. But deputy judges. Like, he's lied to everybody pretty much. And I have evidence of all of it. So we got to investigate that, because this is what these courts are supporting. These judges, these prosecutors, these police, the Law Society are all collectively protecting this man who potentially fraudulently got his lawyer's license. He needs to answer to where he got his education, how he got his license. If he just straight up challenged the exam with no help, that's a red flag right there. And we need to investigate this man's credentials. So he submitted that $160,000 fraudulent bill. He got awarded $60,000. We went to the Court of Appeal. I tried to appeal this bogus restraining order. He filed his materials. He never filed his materials with the Court of Appeal. Okay? He submitted his materials to the Court of Appeal the day of. He served me his materials on the Sunday at 10 o'clock at night. I've put all these in the other videos. So look at that. The Court of Appeal accepts this lawyer's materials 10 minutes before the hearing. This was Justice Lisa Favreau. Accepted his materials 10 minutes before. I lost that appeal for an extension of time because I was late 30 days. I originally applied to the divisional court She asked him if he wins the motion, how much does he want? He asked for $7,000 for a 2-page factum, a 6-page affidavit, and get this, you're not going to believe this. His materials were unsigned and uncommissioned, and he submitted them 10 minutes before the motion at the Court of Appeal of Ontario. This is what the top court in Ontario is allowing. And this is what they're doing to self-represent litigants. And I'm so frustrated that they think that they can do this to people and get away with it without a proper, fair, impartial investigation. Because they won't investigate this. So he submitted that fraudulent bill. He gets awarded $2,500 for basically these materials, unsigned, uncommissioned, 10 minutes before. Never even filed it with the court. He emailed it to them the day of, and this judge accepted it and let him win. Because nobody will go over this family court endorsement, over this judge. They all know he's from the Canadian Armed Forces, and once they see his name, they don't challenge him. And that's the problem I've had. The courts have been prejudiced towards me since the get-go. They've never given me a fair chance. The courts have pretty much done John David Ekpenyong's job. The courts have accepted all his applications, unsigned, uncommissioned, affidavits, unsigned, uncommissioned. And, guys cannot be surprised. I'm going public and I'm doing these videos. I need help. I need help from the public. And it's frustrating, to have to go through all this. Yeah, I filed a family court motion in October 2024. That appeal was in September 2024. I filed a motion to have my bank accounts unfrozen and I could start making these payments. We get before Justice Edwards that day. We're not even there for 7 minutes. This judge denies my request, my motion, to have my bank accounts unfrozen. This was October 2nd. This was when I was still in Windsor, and I was hanging on by a thread to keep my job and to pay my Airbnb and to pay the lady to take care of my apartment. That's all I was asking this judge in this court, and this judge denied it. Okay, Ekpenyong's like, oh, I want cost. He starts chirping and beaking off. He's like, oh, I want cost, and he's like, okay, how much cost do you want? Ekpenyong requests for $2,500. He's there for 7 minutes. He filed no materials. Okay, the judge that day, Justice Edwards, gives him $500. This guy gets $500 for 7 minutes. He charges apparently $400 an hour. No materials. And this happened too. See the abuse I'm taking in this court? And I'm just halfway through it. What this court has allowed this man and my ex to get away with, it's only in the public's best interest to know about these things, because the public needs to be aware of this is what they could potentially be up against if you're a self-represent litigant. And the problem is with this cost of living being driven up so high, people can't afford a lawyer. I mean, lawyers I'd spoken to about these things, they wanted $5,000 retainer, $10,000 retainer. For what? To blow through it? To have it like an assistant, their assistant, prepare templates that are written and put the information in or whatever it is and blow through it and then say, oh, I used your $5,000. Sorry, there was 2 court appearances and 2 affidavits, because that's what they would have said. People do not have money for these courts. And then you got people online chirping about self-represented people. Well, most people cannot afford lawyers. And it's just a very bad designed system. It is not ran fair. These courts are not ran fair. This divisional court, I appealed the landlord-tenant decision, which was an absolute joke. That landlord-tenant thing was an absolute joke. That illegal eviction. Ekpenyong caused 3 adjournments, never filed any materials. Witnesses were all caught lying. They admitted I was living in the basement. I lose this land. It was a straight up illegal eviction. Tens of thousands of dollars of damage. I was trying to move out. This judge, this Robert Pachat at the Landlord Tenant Board told me to shut up and answer the questions, or he's going to threaten to cancel my application. Meanwhile, Ekpenyong again is getting this assistance. It's been it's been nothing but a handicap match in all these tribunals and these courts, and this divisional court. We're in Hamilton. I filed it in Toronto. It was heard in Toronto. I filed it in Hamilton. We get before Justice Chiard. And she was just freaking, to be honest, she was like a nightmare to go before. She did not like me. I was late 15 minutes. She was livid mad at me. She ran down my materials without even reviewing it. She was talking so much smack about my materials. She didn't even review anything. She was criticizing me so much. I was being polite. She was being rough towards me. And basically, Ekpenyong asked for $400. He wanted an hour. He wanted an hour's worth of pay because I was late. Meanwhile, he didn't file any materials. He was well past the 60 days, the strict 60 days that a respondent is given to respond to an application. And this judge ordered me to pay $200, and she granted an additional 60 days to file his materials. And then Ekpenyong, he lied to Chiard and told her that it was in Kitchener. And it's in the endorsement. It never was. It was in Toronto. So because of this misleading and false information, this perjury, this obstruction of justice that Ekpenyong has a pattern of doing, Justice Chiard transferred it to Kitchener. And that's where all this hell just continued blazing down on me. And then this whole bogus, there's this vexatious litigant. The application left at my front door. We went before 3 judges. Justice Gibson on the 19th of December. Justice MacArthur, January 9th. And then Justice Ian Smith on March 21st. All 3 of these judges let Ekpenyong's motion run. He never confirmed his attendance, which I believe is Rule 37.10, Sub Rule 4. Applicants and parties of litigants must confirm their attendance, or a motion does not commence. These judges ran them all. When I went before Justice Gibson on December 19th, Ekpenyong did not confer the date with me. He lied, and when I asked him to change the date, he ignored me. This man thrives off trying to just ruin my life. I'm in small claims with this lawyer. He filed it for defamation because I hurt his feelings. I'm going to be getting to a whole video of his ridiculous material. This guy's just a straight up bonehead. Doesn't know what the hell he's doing. I'm going to expose him every chance I get. He files this back in April. He's got me in vexatious litigant. He's got me motion contempt family court. He's got me small claims court. He's got me doing all these things. He files his small claims case in April 2025. He serves me in August of 2025 because he knows it takes about 3-4 months, give or take, to get filed. This man attempted to try to get me back in court around Christmas because he thrives off of ruining my life. John David Ekpenyong is from Africa. He's from Nigeria. There is a major thing going down in Nigeria with they're slaughtering the Christians, and it's mainly white farmers. And it's this Islam issue right now that's going on down there. So I need to figure out if this man is religious, because everything I'm hearing in the news about the slaughtering of these Christians and these white people in Nigeria, the Nigerians are doing this. This is what it feels like he's doing to me. And these judges are behind him. These prosecutors refuse to investigate. The Law Society, the police, all collectively refuse to help me and allow this man to fucking harass me, to threaten me, to stalk me, to destroy my finances, destroy my mental health over a court case I had no fucking business ever being in. This all comes back to this family court case with a woman I was never married with, never had children with, never lived with. No domestic violence, no police history. Okay? on a restraining order application never signed, that the courthouse staff accepted, that these judges were all aware of, that they turned a blind eye to. This vexatious litigant application leaves at my front door. It's not proper service. These judges, he does not confirm his attendance in any of his motions. After that bogus case, that rigged case before Justice Ian Smith, vexatious litigant, who refused for me to have an adjournment to get a lawyer, who forced me to start this case after he came back from the chambers. It was like 40 minutes, 30, 40 minutes, 20, 30 minutes. This judge was gone. Why did he go to the chambers for 20, 30 minutes? Why? Because he probably consulted with another top judge in that courthouse who I've gone before to instruct him to do what he did to me. He forced me to represent myself, and then he forced me to start the case as the respondent. My girlfriend has been in attendance for half of these proceedings. She can back up everything I've ever said in these videos are the truth. And a very important side note for anyone that's going to these courts, you never go alone. And before you even speak, you ask if you're going to get permission to have the audio recordings of that proceeding. Do not even talk if they refuse it. Because what they've done to me, they've stonewalled me, they've silenced me, they've redacted transcripts. You know, it's insane what they've done to me, and that nobody's talking about it. These investigative journalists, nobody's talking about it. After this bogus vexatious litigant application that my poor girlfriend had to friggin' watch, John David Ekpenyong, after stomping around and his wig almost came off in court, demands $15,000, and then I'd be labeled a vexatious litigant right dead. And he demands $15,000. And then after 100 days, Justice Ian Smith finally gets back to us and tells me, oh, I lost. And that I refuse to resolve. You guys I put the video up there with all of my materials to show you guys, to show everyone what my submissions were. And I've done that for every single case. All of my materials, all of my submissions that they've suppressed, they've stonewalled is on this channel. So Ekpenyong now, and you know what, this judge, he only specifically labeled me vexatious litigant against my ex and Ekpenyong. Meanwhile, these two lost in small claims court, never filed a defense for all my property that got damaged during that illegal eviction. And because of this proceeding, that case, there was 2 assessment hearings that they adjourned because they're just screwing with me. That small claims case got stayed because of Justice Ian Smith's decision. And what does Ekpenyong do again? Submits another fraudulent court cost of $53,744, where 100 days previously he demanded $15,000. I don't even think my ex paid him $3,000 for this case. Leading up to my motion for my divisional court for that landlord-tenant tribunal decision. You know, that these guys were given a strict 60 days. My ex and John David Ekpenyong were given a strict 60 days. They were given an additional 365 days to file their materials. And Justice Gibson was part of this divisional court case one day, and he gave specific instructions to Ekpenyong. I believe it was November 30th, 2023. 2024, to file his materials no later than December 31st at 4 p.m. What does this bonehead do, John David Ekpenyong? Serves me on New Year's at 8 p.m. at night because he thrives off of trying to just ruin my life. What kind of fucking lawyer does that? Someone who's unhinged and psychotic and seems to have, you know, it's incredible how brave this lawyer is, because most people wouldn't tolerate this. Straight up. Most people wouldn't tolerate this, and I could see certain people who have the support and who truly don't give a shit and who's been to the penitentiary before, they would not tolerate this. And I could see somebody who just doesn't truly give a shit, they would not tolerate this. And they would have this, you know what I mean? And it's like, I don't want to go down that route at all. You know, I like my freedom. And this is what they're doing to people too. Imagine this. This is another element. This is why people snap and they go off the deep end, because they do this to people. And then we sit there and we wonder why these things happen. But, you know, life is like, honestly, life is precious. Freedom is the best thing ever. And they're testing people and they're testing me. And I'm not going to go down that route. You know, this is just a perfect recipe I can see for someone who doesn't give a shit, that they're just going to kick off and they're going to snap. And this is what the courts are doing by allowing lawyers to do this, to self-represent litigants, and the abuse. You know, this is why, a perfect example, why all court proceedings need to have cameras in there, and why these judges and these court staff need to stop refusing transcripts to people who've been a part of these proceedings, like myself. They will not give me any of these things. They are refusing to give me documents and audio recordings to proceedings I was before. They abused me behind closed doors. I have compelling evidence of this, and now they're refusing to share transcripts. You've seen Justice Tweedy blocked out nearly 2 pages. You got another judge, Justice Karina Braid, who went behind my back, deleted and altered a 10-page endorsement down to 1, removed all this critical information. There's several things in Justice Gibson's endorsement that I'm saying is not true, and he intentionally provided misleading and contradictive information, that the exhibits and evidence that's submitted on case lines and in my possession that they saw, you know, that can be proven. What I'm saying is the truth. So why are these courts doing this to people? You know, no cameras, can't have the transcripts, can't have the audio recordings, because they are protecting judicial abuse and judicial misconduct. So going back to this divisional court, we get before Justice John Kurchenko, and he says in his endorsement that, it wasn't prejudice that John David Ekpenyong was given an additional 305 days to file his materials because I got them and I was able to review them. No, the rules are the rules. What's the point of having rules and laws if judges and court staff and lawyers especially are not going to abide by them? This is what I mean. This is just a sham. What I experienced, the courts have demonstrated they are a sham, they are broken, they are corrupted, they protect each other, and they're destroying innocent people's lives, like mine. This is what they've done to me. John David Ekpenyong, I lose this appeal in a divisional court. These guys, they filed their materials late. It was a sham. Ekpenyong, because he's harassing me so much, I had to block him. He wanted $7,000. He's like, but I had a strict deadline. I had like 3 days or something to respond to him. I see the email. I get back to Ekpenyong. Now he's demanding $23,200. And I'm like, how do you come up to this? You know, I'll share the emails. I'm like, how do you come up to this? And he starts, again, running his mouth in the emails, thinking he's invincible. And basically saying he can ask for whatever he wants. And the Law Society of Ontario is fully aware of this behavior, and everything that they stand for this misconduct, Ekpenyong did, and they turned a blind eye to it. Justice John Kurchenko made all these bogus statements in his endorsement, but he is the only judge who did not entertain a fraudulent court cost request. And he ordered me to pay $7,000. The issues with Justice John Kurchenko is he ran down that police report. He made comments in his endorsement, and it was bogus what he said. Basically, they meant nothing. Just because she said to the police, you rent the basement, he had some excuse for her. This is what I mean. Every case in this Kitchener courthouse was nothing but a handicap match in front of these judges. I was pretty much going against these judges every single time. Ekpenyong didn't know what he was doing. the small claims court case I had against them. I asked one day, I was like, I'm trying to resolve things. I asked them to drop it. This was the defamation case where they fucking lied left, right, and center in the court. I presented all this evidence. I asked to withdraw the case. Ekpenyong said that, oh yeah, I'll get it ready for you. We'll drop it. Next day he says, oh no, now my client wants $7,910. That's what she paid. She never fucking paid him that. I bet she paid him $500. And this is why we need a financial assessment and stop playing this guessing game and stop aiding and abetting people who have blatantly abused the courts, who have lied to several judges, if not a dozen judges. And we need to stop playing this guessing game, because I'm saying right now, I'm calling bullshit on John David Ekpenyong's court costs. And the people, the authorities, these government individuals, employees, they're refusing to investigate. Again, it all comes down to this family court trial. Oh yeah, Justice Deputy Judge Familia, Ekpenyong lied to him straight up. I brought this up to Deputy Judge, the other fellow there. Forget his name. Looks like Gary Busey a bit. I forget his name, but basically I brought to his attention, and Ekpenyong lied to Deputy Judge Familia, and he did nothing about it. And then when I brought it to Deputy Familia's again, when Ekpenyong, I had my second assessment hearing for the small claims court, and Ekpenyong files his set-aside default judgment less than 24 hours before. The courts accept it, and he wins. I brought it to Familia's Deputy Judge Familia's attention about Ekpenyong lying, and he didn't care. I think the Kitchener-Waterloo Courthouse is the most corrupted courthouse in this province. And I have strong, compelling evidence to back that up. And I cannot believe this is what the Canadian taxpayers are paying. And I cannot believe this courthouse, they're doing this to me. And you know what? They're being supported. Our Minister of Justice, our Attorney General of Ontario, the Canadian Judicial Council, the Law Society of Ontario, these prosecutors I dealt with in that courthouse who stayed the charges, the Waterloo Region Police, the Halton Region Police, all collectively refuse to do their basic duty and investigate this information. They're stonewalling me every chance to get. So this is what it comes down to. I have to go public and share what I'm going through with the public. So John David Ekpenyong, he submitted $325,000 in fraudulent court cost requests. Every presiding judge knowingly entertained John David Ekpenyong's fraudulent court cost request. Most judges denied my request for a financial assessment for proof of payment. John David Ekpenyong admitted, so check this out. John David Ekpenyong admitted on an unsigned commissioned affidavit that his client paid $7,900 for his family court case, where he asked for over $200,000. He admitted his client paid him $11,300 for the divisional court, where he first asked for $7,000 and then he asked for $23,000, right? Which is fucking bullshit right there. Ekpenyong admitted his client paid $5,650 for the landlord-tenant case, and then that she paid $7,910 for the small claims court case, totaling $32,770. And I'm calling bullshit right there. I don't think his client even paid that. So we can just stop fucking playing these games. And people can go on and live their lives. I just want to go on and live my life. And with this, there needs to be an investigation on this. Because if the people I mentioned, these complaint agencies, the Administrator of Justice, all of the Law Society, if they're not going to properly investigate, then they are aiding and abetting this corruption. It's simple. Just do an investigation on John David Ekpenyong. Fix the damage that these judges did to me in the Kitchener-Waterloo Courthouse. I went before the Court of Appeal for Ontario. It doesn't work. This court accepts this lawyer's materials 10 minutes before that was never filed with this court, unsigned, uncommissioned, and I lose. And that was Justice Lisa Favreau who allowed this. in our top court in Ontario, and this is what they did to me. So yeah, I don't even think his client paid that, and there needs to be a full investigation. This lawyer, this bonehead, John David Ekpenyong, he requested for $325,754 in fraudulent court costs. The Law Society of Ontario refuses to investigate. The police, the judges, the prosecutors, the Attorney General refuses to investigate. They all, like, Canada, like, this is crazy. This is happening in our country. Yeah. So this is what I'm dealing with. This is this unhinged, psychotic lawyer who I'm convinced deceitfully got his lawyer's license in Ontario when he came here from Africa. There's a huge mystery to this man. Nobody knows anything. Where the fuck did this man come from? Okay? Where did he get his lawyer's license in Ontario? Did he challenge it? Because it's fucking bullshit. You know how hard it is to challenge that test, okay, without any Ontario training? And think about it. All these top judges, all these top courts, the Law Society, the police, prosecutors, they are all getting behind this man and protecting him. And if they're doing it to me, how many other self-represented litigants out there has this happened to? We need to get a conversation going. This is absolutely insane that I'm going through all this. My bank accounts have been frozen since September 6, 2024. It is almost January 2026. This is fucking insane that these courts allowed this. I think the next thing, and I have lost complete trust in the police, the next thing that needs to happen, I need to get the OPP commissioner involved and call them out in a public video, or I'm going to call out this Minister of Justice, Sean Fraser, and call them out for not doing anything and allowing this under their watch. There needs to be a proper investigation with this courthouse and this lawyer. This is not right that this is happening to people. And what, this is the only remedy to go public because complaints don't work? Statistically, they don't work. This is insane. Tens of millions of dollars have been allocated to all these judges, these courts, these court staff, the police, these prosecutors, the Canadian Judicial Council. For what? This is what they're doing to people. I can't believe it, man. This Kitchener-Waterloo courthouse destroyed my life. They did. And I feel like my days are numbered. I cannot concentrate properly. And it's just destroyed my life. For what? To protect a corrupted family court case because of a top senior judge that, let's be honest, everyone's too chicken shit to accept my materials and say, hey, this guy's saying something here and nobody will help me. And this is what it comes down to, is I got to go public. I need help from the public to get my story out. I don't care about these trolls that want to flap their gums online, that are hiding behind profiles. Let's have a conversation. I got nothing to hide. I got nothing to gain, to mislead, or lie to the public. I need the public to know what's going on. This is my life now. This is my story. This is my life. And I've lived it. I've gone through it. And I can honestly say like, everything I've said is the truth. And if there isn't, then correct me. And if it is, it's going to be something small that I made a mistake because I've been so stressed out before. Not because I intentionally calculated, misleaded some deceitful actions. Okay? I would love to take a lie detector test. I want to do that. Let's get the lie detector test out and ask me any question you guys want. No, this ain't right. That they did this to me. I endured this abuse. I'm already dealing with enough shit, with a shitty family, with a bunch of men who are a bunch of weak ass men who give up on their kids. And I'm going to dive into a whole story about pretty much all my uncles have given up on their kids, except a couple. And there's a reason for that, having kids later on in life. But pretty much my father, my uncles, my grandfather, most men have given up on their kids. And I'm going to be diving into a whole story on my dad's side and my mom's side. And I thought my dad would be more supportive and would be more of a G, especially living at 123 Jamestown Crescent from 1969 to 1979. My dad, his siblings, my grandparents, they grew up in Rexdale. And what do? It's insane. I'm going to get into that whole story, but these fraudulent court costs, the public needs to know, and I need help having this lawyer properly investigated. If the bodies that are, it's part of their duty to do it, they're refusing to do it. I need support. Please, if you guys, if you fuck with me and like I'm telling the truth, I need your support. Share my stuff. I don't mean to be cussing and swearing and doing this stuff. I don't want to be doing this stuff. I don't know what else to do anymore. But I'm going to leave the video at that, and I'm just going to keep sharing these events in my life. And thank you guys for watching. If you guys haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Please comment, like, share this video everywhere, and please show your support for my channel. Let's talk about it.